And welcome to another edition of the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. It's a great day today because, first of all, I'm joined by my co-host, Miss Jen Hellman.
Hi, everybody.
And special guest, you're going to love this guy. I already love him. Greg Morton, everybody.
Hey, how you doing? It's pretty good to be here. How you doing, y'all?
Fantastic. First of all, as you agreed, I followed you on AGT, because as a comedian, we always want our comedians to do well. We don't want our comedians losing to dogs. I just mentioned AGT.
A dog act.
Because I'm ready
what in great heaven already told you that? How the heck did I lose to a dog act? That's despicable. But you never know what's going to happen on that show, right? You never know what's going to happen.
Who is the best? I mean, that one girl who won that had the voice like a human being, like an adult, right? That girl, she was like, I kept thinking there's got to be some sort of mechanism coming out because that's not her. You know what I mean? Like that was amazing. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It's crazy. Welcome to the show, and you got a great background. I got to find out more about you, Greg. You were a professional football player.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you about that story. First of all, I have a lot of followers, and they're lazy, and they want me to have my own Wikipedia page, but they're lazy, so they took over someone else's Wikipedia page, and it's someone else with the same name as mine, and they only got 2 lines in, so hence the. Wow. So, yeah.
So
everything about me is right for the first 2 lines, and then after that, everything else belongs to that other person.
Because there was a different photo. There was a different photo. I noticed that. I saw
they changed that too.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, all right. Well, there goes half my questions I was going to ask you. I mean,
Listen, how do you think I feel? I got trapped one day talking to a guy about football for an hour. This guy's the hotel manager. I know nothing about football. I can't even play Madden, for crying out loud. I haven't played Madden in almost 20 years, and I have no idea. I don't know anything about it. I have a little football handbook. I don't even know where that is. I've lost that, but I've never been able to follow football. So, interesting story. I actually met this guy. Same exact name, Gregory Allen Morton, except his middle name is different. Maybe one letter is different. I think he's Allen. So he's huge. His navel is up to my eyebrow. And I got to meet him at this cigar shop. And you know the Funny Stop?
Yeah.
You know the Funny Stop?
Cuyahoga Falls.
Yeah, Cuyahoga Falls. That's right.
Yeah,
you know Pete and Tony?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Tony owns a cigar shop, right?
Yeah, I've been
and
there.
He says, I know this guy, Greg Morton. Yeah, you should come down and meet him. He's like, so I went down to the cigar shop, and there he was. And I got to meet him. I got a picture taken beside him and everything. But he's a huge dude.
Well, you're not a small man either. How tall are you?
Well, he's darker too, so it means he'll get pulled over faster than me.
Yeah, I didn't know darker. It not only does black not crack, but it also obviously makes you look taller.
People approach him and start trying to have a conversation about comedy.
Yeah, tell me a joke. Hey guys, tell me a joke while he tackles them. I guess
he punts them. He punts them across the bar.
He gives them a straight arm right to the face.
Well, you know what? I really hope that happens.
Player, he probably punches him.
I can picture that because I told somebody this. I've been in martial arts all my life and stuff. So you always had when somebody finds out you're in martial arts, they usually say something. You're like, "Oh, what would you do if I did this?" And they try to hit you. So I remember telling one of my instructors that I said, this always bothers me. He goes, next time somebody does that, just smack them across the face, before they actually hit you. So, like the old bitch slap, you know what I mean? So if somebody actually went, hey, what would you do if you hit them? Like, oh, why'd you do that? Well, you asked me what I would do if you were about to hit me. I'm going to smack you with an open hand so you can think about
blame your reflexes.
Yeah, it's just natural reflexes.
No, at the show, I've had people walk by me and go, "Go Michigan!"
You're a Wolverine, man. You're a Wolverine. That's crazy.
Funny thing is, I used to have a Wolverine jacket too.
You could
really?
use that.
I did, yeah. What's that?
I'm sorry. You could at
Sure.
least use that in picking people up. You know, you tell them you're a football player, and they Google check and.
I don't know.
Or
That works.
innovator.
This
Yeah,
man
until they get. It works until they get to your car.
Hey, let me see you get in a 3-point stance. You know, well, you know, that's amazing. Oh, I'm glad now. I'll just erase half my questions and ask you about that. But that's a great story, right? I mean, you know,
Well, that's why I'm thinking of just leaving it because it's a great conversation opener.
it is because here I am thinking I'm doing my due diligence. You know, I feel like I'm doing my research. Now I look like a complete idiot. I look like I work for CNN or MSNBC or something. And I do appreciate
Well,
it.
can I ask you guys something? Do
Yeah.
either of you have a Wikipedia page?
No,
Just out of curiosity.
I tried. They didn't have it. Nope, it wouldn't work.
I have an
Would you-
IMDb. That's the only thing I have.
Well, I have an IMDb, and it keeps getting confused with another Greg Morton. There's a Greg Morton actor that was on. Oh gosh, what's the name of the show? Oh man. Well, let's Google it.
Look right now, Greg Morton.
Let's Google it right now. Yeah,
Starsky and Hutch.
Scarecrow and Mrs. King.
Yeah, remember that? show?
Scarecrow and Mrs. King. That's what it was. It just came to me. So my bio keeps resume keeps getting crossed with that IMDb, and because I have a lot of things on my IMDb. I was an animator, and I did a lot of voiceovers for cartoons, and back in the late '80s, early '90s. And so I get cross-pollinated there a lot. And I think I've straightened a lot of that out, but every once in a while it tends to drift back together again.
Well, that's great because people are going to think you're one hell of a Renaissance man. This guy was a ballerina. This guy was a ballerina. He was a longshoreman. You know, I mean,
Well, may I also add, Greg Horton on IMDb is also a known actor from the movie Chasing Erections of 2005.
No, that's Horton, Greg Horton.
Oh, you're right.
yeah.
Typo, sorry. I love that you know that Greg Horton was in Chasing Erections in 2005.
You got to know these things.
Yeah. Greg was not in the movie, but he watched it several times.
I was a fluffer.
He was the erection.
Well, everybody has a role. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody has a role in life.
That's it. Play that role.
You know, that's God's calling. That's what that's called. You know, you hear the answer, and you hear the answer. That's what you do.
Hey, let me ask you about voiceover work because I always wanted to do it. People said I should do it. I like cartoons. You know, I have
Who are you talking to?
I'm telling you, like, it's got to be a great business, right? I mean, you're sitting in a booth.
Jen,
right?
help me out here. Bust the other nut for me, will you? Who told him that he could do voiceovers? Please.
You could do the Italian guy, you could play the Italian guy, or if we need maybe an Italian guy. And what's crazy is we didn't hire you to be a Spanish guy.
I am not.
Hey, how's it going?
How about this?
Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going?
Let me try.
Take 3. Hey, how's it going, eh?
Let me try. Hey, how's it going, eh?
You know, the job is very difficult. I know how that talent, because I audition voiceover all the time. When we get Greg back from that, if I have a client, so my civilian job, I create commercials, and if I have a client who can't afford a voiceover, I sometimes have to voice it myself for them, and I tell them, like, you're going to get, believe it or not, you're going to get my voice. And it takes me so many takes, 50, 60 takes. And then when I hire a voiceover artist, they're like, you're paying for one and done. You go in there and you cut the voice, right? There's no like 5,000 redos. Or have you ever been in that position where you're like, the pressure's on and you got to deliver and you're like, I mean, like in Chasing a
Well,
Record 2005.
I have several problems. I have a slight bit of dyslexia, so I'm always combating that. And I'll look at a word and I'll swear it's one word, and it turns out to be something else. Like last week, I thought I was going to West Vagina. I was positive that I had a gig there. Anyway, I couldn't find it on the map, and I realized I was, So my eyes kind of shift. I've got a bit of a lazy eye, and so in the middle of copy, my eye will tend to drift, and I'll see two copies of the copy. That happens to me too. It's just so I've just got to do eye exercises. But damn, that's too many damn exercises.
Did that happen back in the NFL or in college?
Sometimes you get hit, Sometimes you get hit real hard.
How many voices do you think you can do, sir? Or do you?
I've never really counted. After 20, I stopped. My thing is I can hear it and I try and mimic it. I'm more of a vocal contortionist. Yeah. So if it's in my range, it's a lot like singing. And if something's within my range, then that's how I get the voice. So,
what's your favorite voice to do?
Okay. I'll give you an example, if I may. So when I was on AGT, they asked me if I could do The Lion King, and I go, like, The Lion King? I never done that. So I just went, nah, and they went, what? And they flipped out and go, like, yeah, and they were freaking. So they said, yeah, this is going to be great. So we get on there, and a couple of days later, they come up to me and they said, Greg, we've been talking to the lawyers. And I go, oh, no. I mean, because no sentence ever ends well when it begins with, we've been talking to the lawyers. They said, Disney, they're not going to clear it. I said, why? They said, well, The Lion King is in theaters right now, and they're just not. I said, well, this is practically an advertisement for The Lion King. Right. Why wouldn't they okay it? Well, they just don't see it that way. Yeah. And I knew it was the perfect way to open up my set. And then the last day, the director comes up to me and he says, okay, listen, this is a live show, right? I go, yeah, I know. He says, just do it anyway. Well, say you went rogue.
Yeah.
So they have Disney is very particular about their clearance for everything. Like when I did Star Wars, I had to write down every single thing I was going to say, everything that came out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But even the Wookiee, how do you write that down? How do you write that down?
Yeah.
How do you write that down?
# R, the Spanish N.
What a cool crescendo that was too. When you were doing that, does that always happen when you do that whole thing? Because it was like they were waiting for the Wookiee. There was a whole crescendo to the characters, and when you busted out Chewbacca, they just fell out. It was like the whole place came down.
Well, the first time I did it, it was completely improvised. I was on stage collecting my gear, and the bartender at this club was a huge Star Wars fan, and he started playing Star Wars. So I walked up to the mic and I started going, and doing all these different. He goes like, "What are you doing? This should be in your act." Yeah. I go, "Yeah, I never thought about that. I've been trying to write jokes all this time. So silly me." So I put that into my show, and one time there was I started working on it. Just gradually, I would bring it in, as a bit. And then I thought maybe I should do it as a piece, just all one piece. Mm-hmm. And that's what was suggested to me by an old comic. His name was Uncle Dirty. I don't know if you know Uncle Dirty. You know him? Yeah. From the 60s. Yeah. He used to hang out with Richard Pryor. He was good friends with Richard Pryor. And he used to told me great Richard Pryor stories, and stories about what it was like doing comedy back in the day, and that. And he had an album. It was #1. It was a great album too, just excellent. So, And he said, kid, what you should do, that bit that you're doing, don't put that at the end of your act. Put that at the beginning of your act. If you put that at the beginning, you'll never have to work so hard ever again, because it establishes that, boom, this is it. This is the guy.
Yeah.
I kind of liken stand-up comedy to taking a ride with a stranger. You don't know if you want to get in the car. You want to hear a little bit about the person's background. Yeah. Maybe check their financial records. I don't know. So, you need to feel confident before you can progress and laugh and go on a journey with this person. But with something like that, boom, immediate confidence of the audience.
Yeah, and everybody loves it. Everybody associates with it, and it's impressive. It's interesting, the selection of what you open with, because I've been doing some comedy festivals. And usually when I start my regular feature set or headline set, it's always, I start out slow and I come out a little bit, get to know me. My opening joke is generally, I'm in a good mood because I fit in this shirt, so it kind of establishes, what I'm about, what you can expect.
Right.
And, but recently I started thinking, you know what, I think I'm going to come out, especially for like these festivals, 5-minute, 7-minute sets. I'm going to come out with bam, something just huge, just something very off the, like,
right.
Like wow, what the hell, And,
why not? Number one, you've got everyone's attention.
Exactly.
Right? And number two, what? What's number two?
They're ready. They want to hear more, right?
They want to hear more. Exactly.
And they're looking forward, because you do that. It's like, oh, what's next? What's I want to watch the 4th of July fireworks, and all of a sudden, boom, holy shit!
You know what else is funny that I learned? Let's see. Up in Canada, there's a chain of comedy clubs, Yuck Yucks, was owned by Mark Breslin. Created by Mark Breslin. Anyway, he said to me one day, you should wear a suit. And I was never comfortable in a suit, on stage. I loved suits, but I always felt it made me too stiff.
Yeah.
And then I go, you know what? Whenever somebody says something to me like that, or they give me advice, I always feel the onus is on me to try it. At least try it once to see if there's any truth to it. So I go all right, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to wear suits and see what happens. And it was cool because it subverted the expectations of the audience.
Wow.
So because I was making a left turn with a right hand, with a right-handed suit, so to speak. It looked like I was coming up to represent you in court or do your taxes, but I was doing a comedy routine and just a silly, zany, wild, crazy thing, and they don't even see it coming. So, I'm a real fashion. I'm a big fan of the old school stuff. The way comedians always used to dress up.
Yeah.
You never saw comedians in jeans or rolled up. I don't know. It's a showbiz thing for me.
I think you're 100% right. I recently worked with a good friend of mine, newer comic, Ronaldo Evans, very funny kid. Mm-hmm. And he had a suit. He looked great, and he said he learned that. It was advised to him similarly when he was on one of these comedy festivals. And he started noticing that he was funnier than some people, but because they had the suit and they had that presentation, they were getting the votes. They were, so he started wearing a suit and he realized the difference. Now, you mentioned comfort, and I wear a t-shirt like this. Sometimes I put a jacket on, like a comfortable casual jacket, but I don't look like I'm just wearing a t-shirt. And a pair of nice dress jeans and a pair of colorful sneakers, I like my Chuck Taylors. I usually have purple or blue or red Chuck Taylors. I used to wear it. Right. So, but there's something about that. Like I started thinking that too. I was like, maybe I'm just going to come out and be this Italian mafia looking guy, but he's got a suit on. You know what I mean? It's like, I got to listen to it. You never know.
It's great for you, Dougie.
I'm just so fat. I hate wearing suits.
Really? Weight gain has been a great thing for me. 11 years ago, and when I first started, so women really, that's a real challenge for us. You guys have some options. Am I dressing down or am I putting on a jacket? Whereas women have a lot to choose from. I mean, now you see a lot of women now go with like the classic, I always call it like the classic female comedian. It's the Converse with the jeans and a flannel. And, and it looks the same. But really, when I first started, I used to wear, I was very cute on stage. And, you know, even though it was funny and some people warned me like, well, you're going to alienate the women and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I didn't find that to be true. I'm like, women are actually really like me and find me relatable. And it wasn't until, and then I remember seeing on Last Comic Standing, I think it was Damon Wayans or somebody said something to Ida Rodriguez, who was so funny. And he says, well, you're too distracted with the dress and everything. And I was kind of angry that he said that, because I'm like, she should be able to get up there and dress however she wants. But when I gained a lot of weight during COVID, and even before that, I started putting on weight. And my personality changed with the weight too. And now I'm in like a long dress and some sneakers and a jean jacket. And it's the best of both worlds, because A, I'm comfortable on stage, physically comfortable. And B, I do feel that people are warmer and more engaged. They're paying attention more to my personality. And I feel like it matches my personality more. The being dressed that way. So I kind of was able to nail it on all fronts, but I wish I would have took that advice 11 years. Like you said, if somebody suggests something, at least try it. I wish I would have done that 11 years ago, because I find I'm having more success by not being so cute. I mean, cute, you know what I mean? There's no distractions.
You don't want to get on stage and dress like a whore. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, that's your
and I was 11 years ago, I was a whore. Yeah. So no, no, but I mean, I'm still a whore, Dougie. Do not mistake that.
Yeah. Opening for your opener this evening.
Half of the venue already. But no, but it goes back to your point of like, yeah, take the advice, because I wish I had done that early. And like now, I'm more comfortable, they're more comfortable, and I think my personality really shines more dressed kind of comfortable like that.
I think the key is that you feel comfortable. It's got to come from within. So does it really matter what you wear? I think the core is right here. Yes, it is important. And I would say that television and stage are two different things. And even a theater stage is different again, too. It depends on what people are paying. You got to look at that too.
Yeah, I think
or you're in a bar situation, well, then you've got to, that's a whole other outfit, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah. Tavolino is nice, Doug. I always felt like I needed to get dressed up for Tavolinos.
Yeah, and recently when I did Harrah's in Cherokee, opening for John Reap, you know, I had a jacket and everything, like a sport coat, like a nice T-shirt, you know, like cool look, you know. And I was like, I was sitting back there like this, and he looks at me, he's like, "You're right." I'm like, it's a jacket. You know, he goes, "Take it off." I mean, he had a T-shirt on, but he's John Reap. You know, I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to do that. I was tormented the whole time before, but it's crazy, you know.
Well, you kind of got to live it, don't you? You live it, and then listen, maybe you could take it off while you're on stage, so that it becomes a bit of business, like an actor.
Yeah, like a little act. It's like an independent activity. This is me taking off my jacket.
Bingo.
And finding a nice place to hang it. You know,
right?
That could be part of your little bit. You're like trying to figure out where you're going to hang it.
I'm telling you.
Take your shoes off. Why not? I'm going to take my shoes off on Thursday night. I'm just going to, or Wednesday, whenever I'm up. I'm going to take my shoes off and just see what. I'm going to pull a Shakira.
You know, a lot of comedians are so afraid of the silence, and man, that's your time to build tension. The more tension you build, when you break it, the laughter is even bigger.
Yeah.
So you should those spaces, you should always take advantage of those, and those looks, you know, your body language, just get into the character or the feeling of what you're talking about, the emotion, and really allow yourself to feel that emotion, so that when you finally sell the joke, it doesn't sound so rote and rehearsed.
Yeah.
It feels like you're living it. Dude, this is a live person talking to me, not just spitting their act out at me.
Yeah, I think it's a great, you know, I learned the pause from a few people, and then I even had somebody say, "I think you pause too much." I'm like, okay, maybe I'm milking it. You know what I mean? But like, I think when I come out on stage, that's when I told you my opening joke. That's what I'll do. I'll sit there and just look at people like,
oh, dude,
just look at them
exactly,
and they're looking at you like, what's he gonna say? He's gonna say something, and I'm like,
Dougie, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and
is
then
good to do that.
Then you have somebody saying, "Well, you come out kind of slow." So who, that's the thing. You don't know what to do. But I guess.
Well, you got to try everything, right?
Yeah.
So you should try your extreme the other way, and then find your happy medium, whatever that is. But if it makes them uncomfortable, maybe you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Any advice that a lot of advice I've gotten from comedians, if they said something negative about me or my act, it was always something that bothered them. It was more about them than it was about me. I mean, let's face it. What do they know about us?
Yeah.
They know about them. They don't know about us.
Right.
They're just as self-centered as we are. So what would they know about us?
Yeah.
Right?
You want me to be more like you.
Exactly. Sometimes, we make other people feel self-conscious. It's like, oh, he does that too. Oh, I do that. Now, they don't know that, but they think that subconsciously it bothers them.
Yeah. That's great advice.
Yeah. I mean, really, you should just support other comedians on their journey. We're all on their journey. And then afterwards, you have a discussion about it. And you go like, well, did that work? Didn't it work? Why didn't it work? What should I do to make it work? These are the conversations we should be having after the show.
I think that's one of my favorite parts of when I tour and I get to work. Like I'm going to be going on the road for 2 weeks. I'm going to be working with the Raging Cajun next week in Wichita.
That guy's a fireball.
Yeah, and that guy is amazing. Like he cooked, like he made us a stew and everything in the house because we're at the Looney Bin, so everybody's in the comics in the house. He made the stew, and he was great. It's great as a comic that when headliners, especially people that you work with, and you're like, and they sit there and they'll go, you know what? Like I remember I was limping because I got caught in the snow in Houston. This was back in February. So I got stuck.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Start the story again.
All right. So
I was limping in the snow in Houston.
Yeah.
3 things that don't go together.
I know, right? I was on the Caribbean. I was on a bobsled team in the Caribbean. And but basically long story short, I kind of slipped. It was very icy. And I already had Jen knows I already have an injury in my hip area where if I just move the wrong way, it feels like I popped a hernia again or something. Yeah. The whole area just gets really, I can barely walk. So here I am limping on the stage, and I'm like, and I'm walking around and I'm talking about what I should open. We're talking about opening and do, and he goes, you know what you should do? You should just come out and talk about your limp. You know what I mean? Just come out and say, like, pardon my limp, and it ended up becoming a little bit. It became like the first 5 minutes of my act the whole week. I'm like, pardon my limp, but I was walking in the ice and I did an impression of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
And it's funny how simple sometimes, like you just said, if it comes from the core, if it's you and you're just saying things you want to say, that's funny, it's coming out of you, you could do it with anything.
You could do it with anything.
And we all, like you said, we're all trying so hard to, so it'll work.
No. You came in at the wrong spot.
You missed this mark.
You can talk about anything. That's where you started. You dropped off.
Yeah, but I mean that it's amazing, right? We try to write that joke. We try to write that perfect line and stuff like that. When sometimes it's just you on stage saying a word. I mean, that was advice I got from Rich Voss. He goes, listen, there's going to come a day where you're not just telling a joke. You're just saying things that are funny. That's where it's coming from. You're just saying things. But the whole slipping on the ice, I had that limp, and I said, pardon my limp, but I was doing an impression of Jean-Claude Van Damme, and this is not the type of body that can do a full split, and and all of a sudden I'm limping everywhere, and all of a sudden I keep hearing the theme song for Sanford and Son. Because like you said, with The Lion King, everybody knows the theme from Sanford and Son. You know what I mean? And the minute you start humming those tunes, it brings back people start thinking of those days, and they're usually better than these days in most people's minds. So it's amazing with the imagery we can project, right, as comics.
Oh, yeah. With just one line.
And that's what you. I mean, that's what you do. You're amazing with the voice and everything. So it's like,
Yeah.
you have
Well,
a whole tool that could be just crazy.
Well, when I was on the show, I learned something about that piece, because when you're doing that, you go like, "Hey, that was great. You got any more?" That's what happens on the show, and you go like, "Well," you start scrambling. So I broke it down, and I went like, "Why does this bit work? What is this?" And I go, "Oh, well, basically, it's a song. It's a song with impressions, and the lyrics are the impressions." And the impressions create these mind pictures or movies in people's heads. So they connect the voice with the famous line. They go, "Oh, that character."
Mm-hmm.
Then the sound effects, the music, and then boom, it's like a mini movie. Now some people aren't as proficient in the language of cinema, so they get a little lost somewhere. And people were screaming, they were typing back, "Oh, why don't you put the science pictures in the back so me and my kids will know what you're doing?" Copyright.
Yeah.
I watched your AGT first before I watched the Dry Bar. So I saw the AGT, and then when I saw the Dry Bar show, and I love the way you weave that talent, that skill set into doing stand-up. That was a shit ton of, that must be so much fun to do, because I think your average stand-up comedian knows how they're, or not above average, will use their face. We do act outs, we do those things, but I don't do voices like you do, but I love telling jokes, like even like bar jokes. I love telling jokes about a priester who got in front of his organization, like, "I want everybody in here to pray in the name of the Lord." And the jokes are funny because I'm delivering them in this character. But when you do those voices in your stand-up, like I said, on the Dry Bar, I mean, it is a fun ride.
Oh, thank you.
By the way, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and we've kind of moved away from that in stand-up. I don't know what happened or where, because I remember, if you think back to the older comedians, they all did that, especially vaudeville comedians. I mean, they used every tool, every part of their body, their voice, everything.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's great to encompass that, right? I mean,
yeah.
Even the simplest things. I mentioned Voss before. One of the things I got from him, he would tell a joke. He'd say something. He'd go, blah, blah, blah. People would be laughing. He'd be like, and then he'd go. and that, I mean, that little gesture, that little mechanism, it's amazing.
It is amazing. You know why? Because you don't have to have as much material.
It's better than having a puppet and a guitar. I think that's what I'm going to do for my comedy career. I'm going to start playing my guitar with a puppet. That's what I'm going to start doing.
But when I started out, there were ventriloquists, there were mimes, jugglers, comedy magicians, everything.
Yeah,
on stage. It was a real cavalcade of entertainment.
Because that's the thing. Like, you're nothing worse than being at a comedy festival or contest, and you go up right after the guy with the guitar. You're like, "Oh, great." You go up there. I did that one time. I actually went up there, started going, "I'm going to play a song for you now," and I just acted like I was playing guitar. What are you going to do? It's crazy. We talk about
right now. I'm gonna bring out my dummy. I do a little ventriloquism. How you doing? How you doing? I'm all right. All right. What?
Who is that guy? Who is that guy? It's on
Senor Wences.
Senor Wences.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the guy painted his hand. This is his act.
Yeah.
I have a stock.
Well, you know why? He spent a lot of time alone in those hotel rooms on the road.
I have a stock puppet that I made of myself. So I'm Jen, and we call her Gwen. And I took my clip-in hair and I put it on, and she has lashes, and she looks crazy. And I bring it in the car when we go on vacation, so that whenever I want to be like bitchy, I just bring out Gwen. I'm like,
do you have it?
Know what direction you're going in?
Jen, where is it? Do you have it?
Yeah,
go get it.
I'll get it.
I have got a Chinese puppet I bought in Epcot, It's an old man with like a Bruce Lee outfit, like the monkey knots they call them, I guess, or the Chinese the rope knots, monkey knot, I forget what they're called. But they the old guy with a beard, glasses,
Yep, I know. Yeah.
And I remember that when I bought it when we were at the what's called the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot.
Right.
We used to always go, a group of 10 or 15 friends. We'd always go, and of course, by the end of the tour, we're all drunk. We all went around, and so I remember we're getting the puppet, and at the end of the day, I'm by Canada in Epcot when we're all leaving. I'm just sitting there on the ground, tired, and I'm playing with the puppet. And as people are walking by the gift store, I'm like, "Hey, why don't you buy us?" Hold on, so let me get my voices straight. Sorry, I'm all confused.
And you want to do voice work?
He's fired. I'm basically
sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, you come and buy it. Don't be so cheap, you cheapy. Come buy something for your friend. Spend some money. Get over here, you cheap guy. And then somebody, I got like $25 in tips until some guy in Disney came over. And says, "What are you doing?" I go, "Paying for my ticket." It's crazy. But I have a Chinese guy, and I always wanted to do that, like especially like things like social media. You could do. And now from a report from Wuhan, it was no mistake. It was a mistake. Somebody opened up something they shouldn't. And I don't know. It's crazy, but I think that's great. We're talking about AGT, and I was curious because I've heard that from other.
Well, hang on, Dougie. We got a special guest.
Oh, we do. Oh,
I don't want Gwen to steal do not steal the show, Gwen. Okay, but this is Gwen, and I use Gwen so I can say things like, "You're a fucking asshole." And then I can be like, "It wasn't me. It was Gwen." I made her. This is from a pair of socks, and these are buttons, and she has like these little eyelashes that are stuck. Oh, there they are. Look, she's got the
Gwen, come up closer to the camera, please. How are you feeling today?
No, I'm not a ventriloquist.
You don't have to. I won't look at your lips.
I'm feeling pretty damn good, Greg. How are you feeling? You think you're hot shit because you can use your voice. Dougie over there.
Oh my gosh. This is the new co-host.
This, Dougie.
That's right, Jen.
Oh my gosh,
Jen. Next week I want Gwen as my co-host.
This is my favorite part of the show. Okay, okay. Let's wait a minute. I know I'm going to get something weird out.
All right.
Let me see if I got something weird.
I mean, the fact that I actually made that. I love the hair.
I got to get my Chinese dummy.
We're going to do a whole thing. Get your Chinese dummy. Get your fucking Chinese dummy over here. She's very crass, Gwen.
Oh my God. Well, you got to entertain while he's getting his stuff. Come on, Gwen.
All right, I'll keep it going. All right, so wait a minute. Greg, the schmeg is back.
Well, he brought a guitar.
Yeah, what you got?
I think I see a guitar.
So I had to do a lot of Zoom shows, and
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, me too. So they decided they couldn't go away on vacation because of the cove. So they were going to have this vacation in Hawaii, and I found this. This is hilarious.
You got a fucking cock on your head. What's that disease called again, Dougie, where the cock is all crooked? Peyronie's?
Got the Peyronie's disease.
Fucking Peyronie's flamingo head.
Don't worry, that could be corrected with a subscription to Hims.
This guy wasn't chasing erections in 2005.
Well, now all we need is some woman from 2020 with a pussy hat, or 2016.
Please, them rods.
I wish I could figure out where my Chinese guy is right now.
Come on, Dougie. You know where their Chinese guy is. Go get it. Go put your hands up there at the ass of your Chinese guy. Now, does your flamingo talk? Does this bitch talk or what?
I just turned this whole show into Mr. Dress Up.
Best episode we've ever done. Oh my God, it's off the charts. Does the flamingo have a name or a personality or?
No,
Flamingo
I
hat.
wore this and I started out with the flamingo on camera, and then I gradually, my head popped up and I started singing Tiny Bubbles.
Right. I don't
Well,
know a bit.
but it was for a realtor group, so I changed the words and I said housing bubbles.
Is it
Housing bubbles. Sorry.
what is Gwen looks like something? I think it's like The Purge or something. There's like a scary movie that has the same little face. You know what I'm talking about?
On Gwen?
Yeah, she looks like it's like a horror movie. I
It's
forget.
not Saw? Looks more like Saw or something.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Let me look.
Okay.
Hold on. Did you find the Chinese man?
Why did you stick my face into your phone? You know how dirty that is. Well, you don't even know where that's been. For God's sake.
Let's
Oh
go.
my God. If it is Saw, Greg, that is so funny.
Oh, wow.
You looking for help? Listen, take the vaccine. Take the vaccine. Woo-hoo.
He's not
That
even
puppet is
not even Asian, you fucking racist.
Woo-hoo. You are the worst prophylactic I have ever seen.
Yeah. I need to do the side by side of
Wait, Dougie, why are your lips synced up but his aren't?
Yeah. Okay.
here's the side by side
Everybody watch right
Yeah,
now.
that's what it looks like.
of Saw and Gwen.
Yep. Yep.
That's it.
That looks
Mary.
like Saw's wife.
You scare me.
I think you need to do a Joe Biden voice with that.
With Joe
Alright,
Biden?
Oh, that's-
Joe Biden, sleepy Joe.
Let me smell your hair.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can make them.
I see her over there with her
He's trying to come
ponytails.
into your.
She looks like she's 19.
I love
All that work to get my puppet, and I can't even get him. You all right? I'm
Where
I
gonna,
did
used to have a
Where
listen,
did-
I'm gonna do an impression of Dougie now. Wow, look at me. I'm so fat. Even picture of me on refrigerator fall down. Hey, listen, not every there's two types of fat. There's fat and there's I can still get laid fat. Funny, you know. Okay, what else you got there? Oh, yeah, I tried to go water skiing the other day. I was supposed to be parasailing.
You need more stuffing
It's
in
a
that.
whole new show.
I got to have a new co-host.
All right, Glenn is gone. What's going on lately in the news? We haven't talked about anything good.
All right.
Simone Biles.
All right. Well, I was going to talk about that today. Simone Biles, I was going to say as a former athlete, Greg, how you felt about that, being with the Buffalo Bills and everything. But, I think it's, first of all, I think if you're a professional athlete, number one, and you're an Olympic athlete, there has to be pressure.
Yeah.
If you're the elite comic, if you're the top comic, there's elite pressure. If
Yeah.
so there's going to be that. So there's two schools of thought. There is, well, you know what you got in the game for. You got to put up with it, and you're supposed to deal with it. And if you don't, you quit. You've showed a weakness in a sense. Then there's the human aspect of it. Well, sometimes you got to say, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take a break. I don't want to. You look at the one girl, who was a young girl that there was these gymnasts at an early age go through so much pressure. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
it kind of screws them up. So I don't know. People ask me, I'm like, whatever. It's her decision. I'm not gonna get mad at her. Oh, you let the U.S. down. That's stupid, right?
It really is. It really is. In my opinion. I mean, look at it. What they're doing is incredibly dangerous. They fall, they snap their neck, they're a paraplegic for the rest of their lives. And we didn't get the gold. Really? That's what you're focused on?
Yeah.
You're a sad excuse for a human being. That's what
Yeah.
I'd say. And you know what? What a lot of people don't realize is that it's a real gong show over there. They don't even want the Olympics, and they're not handling it well. They're not treating the athletes properly, and they're treating. There are so many horror stories coming out of that place right now. We should have just canceled it because it's a mess. And
Yeah.
who cares? In fact, I stopped watching the Olympics years ago
Me too.
because I knew that it was never going to be right. People were always going to be juiced and they were going to win. So you either accept it that they're juiced, accept the juicing, or make it illegal and like totally come down on it and make it fair, make a fair playing field. But the way it is now, everything's so politically motivated. I'm just done with the whole thing. It's garbage.
Yeah, I think the ratings show that, right? A lot of people.
Well, let me hear. What are the ratings?
No, they're not. They're compared to any other Olympics. They've been
Ratings have been
declining.
dropping for year to year. I mean, for a long time.
Well, I think
Great.
it's also that the whole idea of it. Like the women's soccer team caught a lot of heat. You know what I mean? Because they were, they wanted equal pay, and everybody's like, "Oh, you want equal pay? You can't even beat Sweden," which had some hot soccer players, by the way. I would pay to watch the Swedish girls soccer team as much as I would pay to watch a football game. Which here's the interesting thing. I think through all the drama in sports,
Yeah.
basically the spectator is no longer interested. Like, in other words, I like watching sports. I used to love watching Barry Sanders cut, peel. We used to watch, the great. When you watch football, you watch it for the game. I don't care what their political beliefs are and all that kind of stuff. It's tainted the game, and it's no different than actors. I don't want to hear actors who have no idea what real world is, telling me, how I should feel anyway, or I mean, I don't know. I think.
Listen, at the end of the day, it's their opinion, and I think maybe we have to dial it back too. Maybe we shouldn't get so upset. What are we getting all stressed about?
Yeah.
If somebody just said they're expressing their opinion, what do I care? I guess the fact is that it's in your face all the time, and you don't want to listen to it. You just want to be entertained. So maybe it's the wrong venue. Maybe one's entertainment is entertainment, and a talk show is an exchange of ideas. But
and we're inundated with the messaging, though. It's different.
I know, that's true.
You put the TV on and you would see the news and you turn it off. But now, even if you're not on social media, you're getting the notifications. You probably have the apps. You have a news app. You have this app, and we're constantly being fueled with these ideas that are very polarized. And our country is in a polarized state. I mean, I think it always has been, but now it's just really. I mean, I don't think
people now are arguing about vaccines or not. I post somebody posts on Facebook, and I'm like, look, you can't. First of all, you can't assume that the people who are not getting vaccinated are all of one political stance. Okay, number one. I mean, come on. Number one. Number two. There are valid reasons for not taking the vaccine, and it has nothing to do with conspiracy theories. It has nothing to do with whether I think you're putting a chip in my arm. I had this conversation with somebody. Look, why didn't you get the vaccine? You're a Trumper. I said, you're an idiot. I didn't get the vaccine because I had COVID. So my doctor, not somebody on Facebook or on Instagram, my doctor said, I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, maybe let's see in a year. Let's see what happens. Maybe you should get one then. But right now, I think you're okay. You survived it once.
Wow. That is the best advice ever. Why would you take cold medicine on your day off? I think a nice shot of NyQuil would go nice while I'm operating this heavy equipment. What a great time,
It's just amazing. It's amazing how people are so willing to judge others nowadays and not even worry about their own self. Some time ago, I got heat from the Orlando comedy scene, from some big comics in the scene.
Oh, please!
Because it was about the minimum wage, and I said, I don't know. about you, but I would. I think it just matters. Like, I'm not going to make the minimum wage. That's not my goal in life. That's, I mean, if I'm not going to have somebody pay me more for minimum wage, there's a reason it's called minimum wage. It's because you don't want to be there. You want to advance yourself or become something of value to this world.
Amen. There's where we should focus, right?
Right. And, that's what you should be worried about. Not. Oh, and I actually made the comment. I go. It's interesting here. I don't really want to respect the opinion of someone who's got a Beacon score of 400.
I agree with that. I did that post a long time ago. I think people who contribute their thoughts on the economy and things like that should be required. I think Facebook should post their credit score. Yeah. Because before I take your advice, I'd like to know how you're managing your own finances. The way they do a little disclaimer for COVID, you should have your triple bureau score.
Yeah, you know what? Before you judge my decision process, let's look at yours. You know what I mean? Like, don't advise me on, and somebody was funny because one of the comics, this one particular comic said, "Oh, you're an asshole. That's messed up. That's this and that. Just because you were born with a silver spoon, which I won. I'm a self-made person." I go, I go, well, I guess we just found out who has a 400 credit score. Those who are offended.
Funny.
So GoFundMes have you had, in the past 3 years?
This whole talk about freedom of speech. I agree. There should be freedom of speech, but with that freedom of speech should come an IQ test. That way you're labeled. So every time you speak, like, if not their credit score, every time somebody speaks, they get their tomatoes rating. You're like, whenever somebody, it's almost like the minute somebody posts
you get a Rotten Tomato score, yeah.
Maybe that's what they should put in the vaccines, something that judges who our real value is. And every time we speak, you see this little indicator like 0.001 credit worthiness.
I think we should be injected with intellectual DNA or something, just to.
Just to build up.
Give me some alien blood or something.
Why not? Right? Let's call it. And by the way, ancient alien theorists say yes. All right. Let's do a little bit of quick news, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Domino's is assessing advertising future of AEW programming after pizza cutter spot. Were you ever a professional wrestler in your Did your Wikipedia say you were ever a professional wrestler?
I hope not.
But in a professional wrestling match, some guy pulled out a pizza cutter, one of those rolly things with a blade, and put it on the guy's forehead and it cut open his forehead. So now Domino's is going, I don't know if that's a good idea. Much like they didn't want to have you screaming out the Disney.
Wait a minute. Start again. You're going too fast.
Yeah. Maybe instead of
what did this guy do?
He took a pizza cutter on. He had the wrestler in a hold, and he took a pizza cutter out of his trunks, which I don't know how you can carry a pizza cutter in your trunks. But he pulled it out and he put it across the guy's forehead.
Wait a minute. This is professional wrestling?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is so professional that you cannot bet on it.
I would less than that.
By the way, I was the Ayatollah of rock and roll in middle school when people all would judge the big debate was wrestling real or not. It's real. It's not real. And I had older brothers. So I walked into school one day. I'm like, it's real. It's fake. I go, listen, it's fake. How do you know? You can't bet on it. If it's a professional sport, you got to be able to bet on it.
You can't bet on wrestling in Vegas?
No.
You can bet on everything in Vegas. You can bet on whether it's going to rain.
Not professional.
You ever bet on the days of our lives? It's never going to happen.
Well, you can.
Is Sherry pregnant by Jim or George? Who did it?
Place your bet, everybody. But I think it'd be. Listen, Domino's just. It's a note here that says Domino's says as long as you put Papa John's on the pizza cutter,
right?
Domino's
has always been that way. I've been working in advertising for 25 years, and I can even remember Domino's during the upfront. So the upfront is when all of the networks, for any of our listeners, So at the upfront, this is when all the networks present the upcoming fall lineup to the ad agencies, big ad agencies, and they come out and they watch. And Domino's was always the first to be like, well, we won't be running in that. We won't be running in this. They choose ahead of time that if something has content that would be too critical, too controversial, they were going to separate their brand from it.
Wow.
So it makes perfect sense that.
Well, they're doing pretty well. If you're a
They were also the first ones I can remember pulling when 9/11 happened. They were the first phone call that came in at a local station here in Florida from when 9/11 happened. And that day they called and canceled until further notice.
Wow. Our next story, Washington man in a yellow dress steals school bus, rams front end of loader into his estranged wife's home.
This is like the Betty Broderick. What is her name? Broderick. I wonder if he chose the yellow dress because he knew he was going to be driving the bus. Because that would be.
I think he stole the bus, and then he got out of it, and then he stole the front loader. I mean, this is calculated. I mean, if you could do that,
yellow dress.
Yeah, a Washington man wearing a yellow dress was arrested after he stole a school bus and later drove a front end loader construction vehicle through the home he shared with his estranged wife.
Well, first of all, to find a dress that will fit you, number one,
It's
very challenging,
Yeah.
and then the choice of color, like Jen said, yellow is a cheery kind of color. Maybe he's trying to brighten his own day.
Yeah.
Hence the, yellow theme, yellow dress, yellow school bus.
Yeah, it
And the
sounds
school bus. Yeah, go ahead.
very.
What do you, yeah. And, with all these lockdowns, et cetera, I think we're all snapping.
Yeah,
basically.
that's true.
We're all stressed.
Matter of fact, I think I'm going to wear.
You feel stressed? You put on a dress. What's that?
I'm going to wear a blue dress because I'm a little depressed because of cancellations, and I'm going to go. I'm going to take a bulldozer and run into a little 7-Eleven. Yeah, I think people are just crazy. Our next story, real quick. Little known.
It made good news, though, didn't it?
You have to wear an orange, a red, or a green dress if you're going to be going into 7-Eleven.
I think it'd be a red dress. I think
You've got to coordinate.
Yeah.
Wear a blue dress. If you're going to do a blue dress, then you can go into what? Sears? I don't know. Who has blue? Domino's.
Lowe's.
Lowe's. Wear a blue dress in Lowe's. Let me know how that goes.
They'll think you're an employee.
I want you to go to the heart of Texas and wear a blue dress in Lowe's.
There you go. And that's the guess the cops got to worry about. Hey, that guy's got a blue dress on. Where's he going to hit? I think it's Lowe's. I don't know. Maybe AT&T. Here's a fun story. A Florida woman accused of skinny dipping in a homeowner's pool.
Yeah. Now, is there any way you can bring up the picture for them, or do you do that later?
Well, you know what? I will. I think I could do that.
Bring up the picture because that's
I know where you're going with this, Greg.
more than half the humor right there. Yeah, there we go.
Depends, right? I know.
There we go. See if you can. Yeah, bring it a little closer. Oh yeah, there we go.
Hey.
I like your pool. Your pool.
There he is. He's auditioning again.
She's a little methy. She's a little methy looking.
I just wanted to cool off a little bit. No,
I want to hear Greg give her a voice.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg. Give her the voice, Greg.
Okay.
Do you mind if I take a little dip in your pool? I've been vaping all day, and I just need to wash some of this funk off. I smell like an air car freshener. I just had my whole face done with duct tape.
Well, you know now
We
what?
should have been doing this for an hour.
Now you know why. Now you know why the guy actually called the cops. Because if she was good looking, who's going to call the cops?
Exactly. Skinny dip on. Have you ever been skinny dipping, Greg?
In France, she's a 9, so just cut it down, okay?
In France, we call her.
In Baltimore, she's a 10. Get the job done and bring home the high.
5-0.
Take one for the team. Get you some.
In France, they call her a McSkank. Here's a great story. It's okay. Come on now. All these little pop-ups. Come on. Thank you. Thank you very much. Louisiana man create trailer parks with swingers. He says, bring your house and share your spouse.
Yeehaw! Wait, do we have a picture? I need to hear Greg do the character.
How about this?
Yeah, this is
Let's all meet and share our teeth.
this is the guy's wife.
Hello.
Come to our trailer park.
Listen, I was wondering. I wanted to answer your ad about the swing session that you had at the trailer park. Me and my husband would like to swing with some swingers out there. We also have a Cocker Spaniel that likes to lick things. So if you could just possibly get back to me at this number, 555-2927, I will get back to you as soon as possible. Swing it, baby.
Use the Cocker Spaniel.
You're the first comedian I ever met that had an iPad talk.
Oh my God, so much fun.
Yeah, with a picture that rapidly going viral, a new business idea quickly gaining attention. And oddly enough, most people who swing do live in trailers. So
Data that you collected from experience, or is that let's see.
yeah.
That was a little dig, Dougie. How come you're not flexing?
No, because I'm too busy looking at my next story.
Was I saying that he swings, or was I saying that he lives in a trailer? Clearly, he was swinging.
Now the people Jen swung with, being in Palm Beach, were much higher class.
Yes, I only swing right.
Yeah, you need a high credit score to swing with Jen.
Exactly. Like, in other words, if Epstein hasn't actually stepped foot in the county, then I don't swing.
We all have our. And our last story of the
Why
day.
am I the only one laughing here?
No, I'm laughing.
Well, that's funny.
I'm laughing at my own joke all the time.
Our last story: New Zealand rated the best place to survive a global societal collapse.
Yes, I saw that too.
And
it's interesting. Name the countries, Dougie. Go for it.
All right. Well, they had the different. Okay.
Sorry.
Where's my line up here?
New Zealand was one of them. Ireland.
Yeah,
and Iceland.
Yeah, all
and
water. Land landlocked. I guess. How would you say that? There are oceans around them, right?
Islands.
Well, do you mean an island?
Yeah.
Apparently, she missed that class.
Is New Zealand an island? I thought it was.
Didn't you take Jog Free? What's wrong with you?
If it has three sides, it's a peninsula.
Are you sure that you have that high of a credit score? New Zealand, Iceland, and the UK, Tasmania.
Yes, in Tasmania.
Yeah, are the best places suited to survive a global collapse of society, according to a study. And I think we're going to have a lot of people are leaving Michigan, Minnesota, Minneapolis, Atlanta, Baltimore, and they're heading to New Zealand. With that being said, with all the strife and the craziness we have, and we're comics, so we're trying to make fun of all this and have fun during all of this. Do you have faith in humanity, Greg?
No. I can answer that without a hitch. And I've been looking at places on Netflix, and sometimes if I want to go to another place, I'll look at, shows on Netflix. Like last night, we're into this real Iceland vibe lately. And what's this new series called? Locked Up. It's in Iceland. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
It's a dreary place. I mean, it's all gray. And these people don't even know how to decorate. Like you'd think when it's gray, 11 months out of the year, more than brown goes with brown. Everything's just brown tones, just all brown. And in the UK, they have bright colors. They use bright reds and yellows and greens. These people, all gray, brown, bratzel brown. I couldn't. If I were an interior decorator there, I would go mad. I'd go insane. I couldn't handle it.
And the rest of the Pantone got lost. The guy who lost at sea. They only had that section of the Pantone book.
it's a crazy place, right? Because it
I
wasn't.
lost all my other Pantones. I guess I'll just use the brown one.
Browns.
Yeah,
we
lots of brown. No, I did the wrong accent. Man, I guess I'll just use all the brown.
Yes. That's right. That's right. We love the earth tones. I went to soccer. I played my freshman year in college. I played with a few soccer players from Iceland. And I mean, wasn't it just a few years ago where the volcano erupted out there and you couldn't even fly out of there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how that was like a place you're going to societal collapse.
Hey, look, speaking of that, there's another show on Netflix called Katka. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It's about Katla, Katla.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all it's about the volcano exploding. But there's this creepy, dark sci-fi story built around it, where these changelings or these people, these doppelgangers come out of the earth and they appear in this small Icelandic community. And it's really cool. I don't want to say anything more about it, but I just got finished watching that.
I've
Great show.
what do you watch that this comes up? I'm a 79% match, which I find it very interesting that they do that it's a 79% match to what I would like, which is okay. This looks good. Now, it's got subtitles. Do they speak English in Iceland?
Let's see. There is there's English dubbing on it.
Okay,
so you can click on that. You won't even have to read a damn thing.
I see a lot of P's in the name, which means it's Tanya Flagenring. Sounds very German.
And if you want here's another great foreign film. Oh my God. No, it's a series actually. Netflix again. It's called The Platform. And it's out of Spain. And it is.
I love the ones. I love
it is so good. I don't even want to. Just watch it, guys. Yeah. It's scary. Okay, what happens is this big. I got to get into it. There's this platform of food.
A slab of food is what they call it.
Yeah, that's right. A slab of food, and it goes down. It's like on an elevator, and it goes down. It's on a shaft. It goes down the middle, and there are people on each platform. They eat as much as they want, and then when the time's up, the platform or slab continues downward, all the way down to the bottom, and the people at the bottom get the least. So it's kind of a metaphor, right, for the haves and the have-nots.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So that we should learn the lesson there, because just hope that you're not on the bottom of the platform.
You should never be on. You should never want to be on the bottom, because that.
Especially if you're a cheerleader. It means you're a little hefty. And no one's going to pick you up and throw you and watch you do a split in the air. Anyway, that's all we have. That's all we have time for here on the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I want to thank our Greg Morton, who showed up today. This is awesome.
That went way too fast.
It was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun. And of course, Jen, for joining us today. And Greg, where are you going to be? What's something's coming up?
Let's see. Next week I'm in Myrtle Beach at the Comedy Cabana, and come on out. It's a great show, great club, good food, fun times, and especially if you're at Myrtle Beach. I mean, you can't bake in the sun all damn day. You got to do something. You got to come out of the sun.
You can only play so many rounds of Goonie golf because there's like a million places.
Right. Anyway, I always have a good time there. So
Paladine restaurant and the skyline there. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. And Jeff's he loves feeding everybody. So
yeah. You want something to eat, buddy?
Want something to eat?
Did you eat, buddy?
Tell him I said hello, by the way.
Yeah, you bet I will. You bet I will.
And I live now in Greenville, South Carolina. I moved from Florida, so I'm just a few hours away.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, thank you. we actually love it here. It's beautiful. Well, that's awesome.
Some of the people are nice.
Here, Greenville is amazing, dude.
Okay, Dougie.
Wow, you better not mess with this. Wow, get all his South Carolinians.
Okay.
They'll all be coming down the Murdo Beach in a bus. Go west. They're gonna come storming with the yellow dresses on and a yellow bus.
That's my kind of neighborhood.
I'm gonna put on my red dress and go beat you up in the park. That's great.
How about you? How about you guys, Jen? Where are you going to be?
This week, as long as American Airlines comes through, you can find me at Lucy's. Oh God, I'm hoping. I do not want to be stuck in Dallas, but
what is with American Airlines lately?
I don't know, but
everybody's complaining. They're canceling flights left and right.
Right. I know they're canceling more. They already sent me the email asking if I wanted to fly at a different time. So we'll see what happens. But
why are they doing this?
They probably don't have anybody to work.
They'd have staff. I think it was also
staffing problems.
Yeah, what was the other? Spirit Airlines had to cancel hundreds of flights too.
Spirit anyway. But I'll be at Looney's this weekend, and then the week after, I'm at Curdy's.
Oh, good one.
There you go.
That's a good club too. Yeah.
By the way, let's
brush up on our flight simulator out on Xbox and see if we can help these airlines out.
I'll just show up and be like, especially me, because I'm very heavily medicated when I fly. I'll just walk up and be like, listen, I completely get it. So don't worry, just show me where the button.
Yeah.
Do you sleep on the plane the whole time? The whole trip?
Time. I sit down, sleep. They can't even wake me up to give me a drink or a pretzel.
Me too. I want to die in my sleep. That's what I say to myself.
If you're going to do it, I tried to sleep on the way back I took a red eye from Phoenix this weekend. And this one guy kept falling asleep on my shoulder. I'm like,
practically a relationship.
I'm telling you, after the fourth time, I said, "Look, dude, if you keep leaning on me, I'm gonna let you go all the way down to my lap, and you're gonna." I think he's sleeping.
Oh my God.
That was turbulence.
Hey, can you go through another cloud? That's great. Yeah, I'm going to be, by the way, at the Tulsa Looney Bin this week and next week in the Wichita Looney Bin. Again, Greg, thanks so much for joining us today. Great to have you. And
fun as well.
We love you. And of course, no show next week. I'll be out of town, but we'll be back with a reschedule for next week. Trix and Spiro will be on from Las Vegas Comedy Scene. Will be here next week, the week after, I should say. God bless, guys. Take care. And we'll see you next time right here at the same spot.
All right. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Wake up!